Alright guys, this video isn't so much of an update, but a chaos video to show you if you decide to do a conversion, what kind of mess you can get yourself into, because you'll start on one job, get about halfway through it and find you need something else. So you start on another job, find out the same thing, and that repeats. At the moment, I don't know how many I've got going right now, but I have a lot of stuff going on right now, and I just kind of wanted to walk you through what a mess you can get yourself into. But you got to just keep a straight head. You got to keep a straight head about you. There is a lot to do, a lot of little things to do when you do an electric car conversion. My old boss, Jack Rickard, rest in peace, Jack. He used to say that a car conversion is a series of problem-solving exercises, and that's right on the money. So let's just start on the right side of the garage, and we'll run you through what's in my brain. Here you got two Tesla modules. I'm using those Tesla modules so I can mock up what will be my battery boxes. I don't have the full 16 modules yet, because that's a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money right now. But I can use those two to come up with a way to mount all of them. I can set them side by side and come up with the spacers that go between them, come up with a method of securing them, bolting them down, whatever. Try and get an idea of how they're going to be wired on the back of these cooling ports for water jackets. Tubing, so I can get an idea how that's going to run. So making battery boxes is on my mind. And over here, I've got the HVAC system pulled out of it, because obviously with a electric vehicle, you don't have a heater anymore. So you got to come up with an electric solution to that. And my solution so far has been to get a Model 3, Tesla Model 3 heater, and this is the end of it. You can't see the whole thing, but it basically goes about, well, it goes right here. It's roughly the same size as the Jeep cooler heater core. But what I have to do, I have to go to work and get the big bandsaw and chop this off about right there, and then run a whole bunch of wires to a contactor of some sort, and then I can have that. At extremeterrain.com, they have these little bitty parts. That little dude right there, that little dude right there. Well, on the other side, on the other side, there's one that controls the flapper for defrost, or no, it's this one right here, right here. Yeah, see, there's a hole right there, and then there's a spot here for another vacuum servo. So this was broken. So Extreme Terrain, they sell these little dudes, which is great, because without this, I'd have to buy a whole nother HVAC thing off of eBay, and, So I can fix that now. So that's good. So that's another thing that's going on. So I can't do anything with that yet until I get to work. And then I can cut that thing off and wire it and put all that back together. Inside, you can see I've got the whole damn dashboard ripped out, because that's what you have to do to get to the HVAC system on these. So that's a nightmare. Got bolts and nuts strewn all over everywhere. The likelihood that I'm going to get all this back together and have it work in one shot is, well, I would call it unlikely. So there's all the stuff that goes there. Up front, I'm also working on my power steering system. I haven't really touched much on this yet, but this is a power steering pump, electric power steering pump out of a Toyota MR2. They use a 12-volt electric power steering pump. So that's what I'm going to do. So I made a bracket. There was a bad shot. There was a tray right there. I guess it was for the battery if this was a right-hand drive, like for the Postal Service. So that was probably the battery tray. So I just cut a hole in that and drilled some and made some spacers and bolted the power steering pump down there. And then underneath of that is a vacuum pump. Got that little dude from Summit. You can't, if you knew what you're looking for, you could see it right there. Anyway. So I've got a vacuum line that I've got to deal with. I've got a vacuum switch here. Got to plumb that in somewhere. I've got a little port here that'll go from 3/8 vacuum line to the little bitty plastic line that they use to run all the HVAC vacuum motors. To make my power steering work, obviously I have to make new lines. So making them out of AN fittings. And here we go. So had to order some 120 degree AN fittings there. But I don't have an inline. This is all going to sound very confusing. The point of all of this, and I'm going to continue with my narration of my garage here. The point of all this is you end up with a lot of stuff on your brain. And if you can't keep it all in order, it wouldn't hurt to like write it down, get you a dry erase board or whatever. Anyway, I have to get some more fittings so I can do a power steering pump. That's another thing. I'm making up a bracket. This is my new throttle assembly. So I'm making up a bracket for that. That'll obviously go where the other one was, where the accelerator pedal was. Over here on this side, I've also got to worry about making some kind of a gauge cluster. So that was the former gauge cluster. And this is version 1 of what I may do with the new one. So that'll go in there. And then this display, this is the EVIC Andromeda EVIC display. It's just a color screen that shows all motor data, temperatures, and amperages and stuff. So that will bolt in that hole. And then just to the right here, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I bought like this little GPS add-on thing, like a speedometer. That I thought I might cut out a square in there and put that in there, but I just got that today. That might not work. I don't know. So, trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. So that's kind of cool. And then over here, got my welder out because in the passenger floorboard, I had to deal with this mess. So I cut all that rust out and bought a factory replacement panel for the passenger side floorboard. And wouldn't you know it, the factory panel originally went to, about right here. Cuts short about that far of where all my rust is. So I almost returned the thing, but then it occurred to me that the panel is fine. I just needed to kind of make another piece to cover up the spot where the rust was. So that's what I did here. That's what I'm doing now. Going through and welding that thing in there so I can get my floor nice and solid again. Let's see. Yeah, so those are all the things that are kind of going on at the moment. And then Christmas came a little bit early today in the form of the Mr. UPS guy. And he brought me this guy right here. So that's my back bumper. I wanted to get the back bumper bought because I want to have that thing mounted up. That way I know on the back here where I can and can't have batteries mounted. I'm going to use the original cover for the fuel tank. It won't actually hold anything. It'll be there just kind of just for looks to sort of keep it stock looking. But underneath, inside of that, I've got two 2x4 mock-ups of what a Tesla battery size is, so I can see how many will fit. Looks like it's going to be 3 or even 4 Tesla batteries might fit back here. So I'll make a battery box that slides up in there and bolts to something, the frame, the body, I don't know. But anyway, so I got that there too. But I needed to have the bumper on here so I know exactly where that thing is so I don't go making battery boxes that'll hit it. And what else? I went to Harbor Freight and bought some shrinker and expanders for making the panel fit where all my rust is in the passenger floorboard. But yeah, so that's what is going on here. And not only that, upstairs in the house, I've got the engine compartment 12-volt wiring harness that I've gone through and taken out all the ECU stuff and the anything that connected to the engine, removed all the extra wires, and have labeled where other wires are so I can try and incorporate them into the finished build so that everything looks as factory and like it's supposed to be there as possible. It's very important to me that things kind of look like they're supposed to be there. So there it is. There's the kind of update chaos video. Hope you're enjoying these videos and keep watching. And I feel almost obliged to say like and subscribe, except I'm not going to do it. All right, I'll talk to you later.